Max Verstappen dominates the US Grand Prix, getting max points on a sprint weekend, closing that championship gap ever so much more. Can he do the unthinkable? 40 points separate Max Verstappen from Oscar Piastri. I'm Dylan Hilder. This is the Dylan Hilder Show. Make sure to like, subscribe, so you don't miss any football or racing. Let's dive into what we could be potentially witnessing here over the next couple of months. Max Verstappen. Again, he is 40 points off of Oscar Piastri for the championship lead. He has to outscore Oscar Piastri by 8 points in order to be the world champion. It is absolutely possible to pull that off. It is well within reach, especially given how Oscar has ran the last couple of races. And that's not even including the sprint races in Brazil and Qatar. I know I've said for a couple weeks now, stick a fork in it, it's over. Well, Max Verstappen has pulled off an Undertaker-esque move. Fist out of the ground, out of the grave. He is alive and well. That I am beginning to believe. As many of you already know, I am a huge Red Bull fan, and I believe. I actually freaking believe it. What Laurent Mekies has done to this car, I have no idea. But oh my god, it is working. Now, you look at oh my goodness. This is absolutely insane. Only 2 people in the history of Formula 1 would pull something like this off. Max Verstappen and Ayrton Senna. Those are the only 2 people to have ever gotten into an F1 cockpit that can pull off this kind of miracle. And I'm going to be honest, if he pulls this off, this will be the second time in the short time that I've been watching Formula 1 where I have sat and accepted defeat only to come out a winner. 2021, Abu Dhabi. Yeah, start groaning, Mercedes fans. Start groaning, Lewis Hamilton fans. But here's the reality. You can say what you want about that race. I'm just talking about what I was feeling. It was despair. It was anger. Like you're going through all the stages of loss. All as the laps are ticking on down. And then everything that happened in Abu Dhabi in 2021, and it was a holy cow moment. And that's when I was like hooked on forever, never gonna miss another race in my life. And that has still held up. I have not missed a race since. But this race was absolutely insane. I mean, the sequence that is coming that could potentially happen. And then so you have so in the race itself, Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc, they tried real hard. McLaren did to not have Lando finish second. You could say it was a bit of brilliance to keep Lando out and go for the overcut. But given McLaren's ability to not to not make smart decisions, it was more than likely luck. Nonetheless, Lando was able to sneak into second place, and then you have this little situation here with Yuki and Oliver Behrman.
On the racetrack.
And around he goes. Now, Ollie is gonna says that he was moving under braking, even though that's not even a passing zone. You wouldn't even expect it, because you're not passing there, especially going through the freaking dirt. But you know, it is what it is. But Lando, he is able to close the points to Oscar down to, I believe, 14. So 14 points between Piastri and Norris. 40 points between Piastri and Max. It's on. It is on like Donkey Kong. And when you look to the past, if history repeats itself from last year, Lando Norris is going to be your world champion. Now, if you take away a couple of mishaps with Max Verstappen getting spun out in Abu Dhabi, which I don't quite remember the circumstances on that. It was a year ago. Leave me alone. And then you look at what he did at Brazil. I believe he struggled he struggled a little bit, but he still outscored Oscar by 4 points. And you look at Brazil and the sprint race. Oh, it was 1-2. Okay. So he didn't outscore him there. But and then you have the actual race result where Max ended up winning bigly. Oscar in 8th, Lando in 6th. So if history repeats itself, and they are able to clean up a little bit, do a little bit of house cleaning, which I think Oscar and Lando, yeah. Which you also have to remember, Max was just kind of, he was just kind of clicking off laps at this point. And the car was much worse than what it is now at this point in the season last year. And we're seeing the roles completely and totally flip as McLaren comes out with the dominant car. Red Bull, they're on the back foot. And now we're seeing a complete role reversal where now Red Bull is eagerly catching up. And the only difference is Max Verstappen can be trusted under pressure. Can Lando Norris? Can Oscar Piastri? I mean, I've been calling Oscar the Iceman for a while. But seeing what we've seen today and what we've seen over the last number of weeks, last number of Grand Prix, I think the pressure is beginning to mount on young Oscar Piastri. Because when you look at last weekend in Singapore, finished behind Lando. When you look at the week before in Baku, he wrecked out. And it only gets worse from, well, did a lot better there, but still, that's another 10 points that was made up. And so his last solid result was in Monza, where where you're going to be okay. And then you had the win in the Netherlands. But so it's been a minute since they've been able to put together a full weekend. And you have to think that pressure is getting to that McLaren team. And I mean, I get that the constructors title, that's wrapped up, that's done and over with. But there was no pressure. You're not getting that media pressure either from it. Not to the same degree as a driver's championship. And plus, you have to manage both of them. Because they're both fighting for a championship. And then you got Max nipping at the heels. And once Max sinks his teeth onto it, you ain't going away. He ain't going away. So, if McLaren is going to get one of the drivers to the Drivers' Championship, one of them's going to have to jump on that proverbial grenade. Someone is going to have to be Checo to Max Verstappen. Someone's going to have to be that Valtteri Bottas to Lewis Hamilton. And I don't think either one of them is going to be willing to do it. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get down towards the end and team orders comes into play, one just outright says no and ignores it. Kind of like we saw today with the Alpines, but that's a whole different deal. Because they were fighting for 17th. But next week, they're in Mexico. Max likes Mexico. No, I think so does Lando. I think Lando does too. Mexico 2024. Because I think he finished second in Mexico last year. I know I just looked at it. Or no, he finished 6th. I think something happened to him. Maybe. I don't remember. But Max has a couple wins in Mexico. I mean, he won in 2023 like every other race that he's won. And I think he won it in 22 as well. Did he win it in 22? He most certainly did. So so can Max make it a third? Well, I don't know if it'd be third, but you know what I mean. Can Max do it again? And can he get some help with the Ferraris running as well as they have been? Granted, Leclerc fell off at the end because they were on an alternate strategy, which was kind of dumb, but Ferrari's gonna Ferrari. Can he get that help from Russell? Or can he even get help from Yuki? Yuki's improving. Can Yuki wiggle his way up into that lower top tier? Because if he can play a factor in helping Max get to the Drivers' Championship by taking up a second, a third away from the McLarens, he'll be able to stake his claim to that seat and say, hey, I have earned my spot on this team. Right now, you'll be hard-pressed to say Yuki should get that opportunity next year with the way that he's ran. Now, he's improving. But is it enough? Or do you give it to Isaac Hadjar? Or do you take the really big leap and give it to Lindblad? Alvin Lindblad. Either way, Yuki has got to play a factor, and that comes with actually qualifying well. And granted, the USGP qualifying wasn't entirely his fault. But when your teammate is on the pole by 0.3, there's a problem. And you're getting knocked out in Q2 or Q1, it might have been. I don't remember which one. I think it was Q2 he got knocked out. No, I guess I can just look it up since I'm freaking here. Whoa! So Yuki started 13, so he got knocked out in Q2. It was Q1 in sprint qualifying. He got knocked out because of the time. Because he didn't get across the line in time. But nonetheless, Max, he's got to score 8 more points than Oscar each and every single race. Or each and every single weekend, I should say, with the sprint races. It's possible. It can be done. But there can be no mistakes. If anybody can do it, it is Max Verstappen. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to have a wild final 5 races of the 2025 Formula 1 season, and I will be here after each and every single race to break it all down. I'm Dylan Hildreth. This is the Dylan Hildreth Show. Make sure to like and subscribe. That way, and make sure to hit the bell so you don't miss any racing or college football. We'll see you in the next one.